Welcome to the Grueling Truth Super Bowl 52 preview show, brought to you by MyBookie.ag. If you want to bet the Super Bowl, go to thegruelingtruth.net, click on the MyBookie.ag banner. It'll take you straight there. I'm your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in my co-host. First up, we've got Matt Andruscavage.
How's everyone doing?
Doing fine. And, of course, the other person who's tied for first in the Pick'em show. We got a three-way tie, right, Matt?
That's right.
Or is Schmidt a game behind us?
No, three-way tie.
I think we all tied.
All right. Of course, Brian Schmidt. How you doing, Schmitty?
I'm doing awesome, man. And, getting ready to come up with some surprise picks for the Super Bowl or not. We'll find out.
All right. Of course, normal co-host from the Denver Broncos, played in Super Bowl 21. It didn't work out too good for him, but the Giants got some big shiny rings. Help me welcome to the show, Mark Cooper.
Look, you do not have to say that, okay?
Well,
you can just say we ran out of time.
Yeah, at the end of the first half.
That
the
is pretty rough there, Mike.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's all right.
Hey, where's your AFC Championship ring at?
I've got 3 of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bought them on eBay. All right, and of course, my next co-host played at the University of Cincinnati, then played quarterback with the Carolina Panthers. Help me welcome to the show, Tony Pike. How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing great. I mean, I can sense the nerve on the other side of the line with this three-way tie. So, I mean, I'm feeling pretty free right now, ready to go.
This is the thing, Tony. I mean, we've done this. This is the 3rd year. And the first 2 years, me, Matt, ended up in a tie, and now we're in a tie again. It's impossible to do that, picking 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 3 years in a row, and we're still tied.
It's impressive.
We disagree all the time. But what
pretty
the
weird.
hell? Coop's always like 50 games out because he has to miss like 5 or 6 shows to coach his junior high football team.
Come on, man. We won a national title over
I
the
know. I was waiting on it. See, I was trying to make it up to
Hall
you.
of Fame.
Yep.
Come on.
Yeah, nothing like
Kids are
going
way
to
more
beautiful
important.
Canton, Ohio. You should play a national championship where it's warm. Take the kids to a beach.
Well, we play in and out of Florida, too.
Well, let's start off with the big NFL news, which would be the Washington Redskins signing Alex Smith to a rather large contract. Tony, what's your take on this?
I think that's a little bit too much money to give Alex Smith. Granted, he had a great year this year, but when you look at the guaranteed over $70 million, to me, you're investing in a guy that, for all accounts, has always been a good regular season quarterback and kind of never been able to get over that playoff hump, and we saw it again this year. And to me, it's just he's a guy. He's not ever going to wow you. He's athletic. He can make plays with his legs, but as you get older and the more hits you take in this game, he's not going to be willing and wanting to make as many plays with his legs, especially now you give him all this guaranteed money. This to me looks like, probably the downward end of his career where he's not looking for a big deal after this. So I think, to me, the Chiefs got out great with this. They were moving that direction anyway, and you get a first-round pick. You get a lockdown defender in the secondary, and I think this is just what Kansas City wanted.
Yeah, I don't see how this works out good for Washington at all, Matt.
No, I don't either. I think Kansas City absolutely made way like bandits, and Alex Smith, maybe he's got 2 good years left in him. And when I say good, I just mean good regular season. I'm not sure he'll be able to even duplicate what he did this year. I don't see how Washington does really anything with him. They might contend for a wild card, but that'd be about it. I just don't know what Washington's thinking here. Kansas City's got a real good chance now to be a playoff team for a number of years as long as Mahomes pans out.
Yeah, and when I look at this, Schmitty, my problem with it is I think you're even going to have a hard time making a playoff with Alex Smith. You've got a young Dak Prescott. You got a young Carson Wentz all in that division. And if the Giants can fix their offensive line, you've still got a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Eli Manning.
Yeah, it's interesting that when this went down, my first thought was they didn't get any better. In fact, they maybe got a little bit worse. Alex Smith, and Matt said it, a couple good years left, but he's still not a guy you're going to win a Super Bowl with. And I don't know that, and I haven't done the comparison yet, but I was thinking about this about 10 minutes ago. Washington, from a skill standpoint, I don't know that they're as good as Kansas City. In fact, I think they may be worse than Kansas City. So I don't know that this really helps Washington at all. I think this was a move that was made to maybe fool the people into thinking, oh, hey, look, we're doing something. But I think this really is going to turn out to be a bad move for Washington. And once again, a lot of money spent on a player that's not going to anywhere near help you.
Yeah, and
Hainsworth comes to mind.
Yeah, well, Daniel Snyder's done this before, Coop, and I think this is basically just him desperate because he knows that he's probably not going to be able to sign Kirk Cousins, so he goes out and makes things even worse.
I couldn't agree more. That owner I think has had issues for years. And I don't think he listens to his head coaches. I don't think he listens to his GMs. I don't think he listens to his scouts. I think he's kind of an off-the-cuff guy. I mean, let's see, $94 million with $71 guaranteed. Are you kidding me? I mean, Alex Smith has played some pretty good football, but nothing of that kind of stature, in my view. I mean, that totally shocked me. I mean, and plus now you're saying, you basically said Cousins see ya. And, so I haven't heard any rumors on the street of, obviously the Broncos are talking about Cousins and trying to take a look at him, but they got to solidify their offensive line first. So, it was on Wilt Whiteley's show today here in town, and we were talking about, my comment was, what if you took Nate Soldier, put him at left, move Bowles to right? Then you take they got a good right guard. McGovern's been playing real well, and take Leary, who they got from the Cowboys last year, move him to left. And you kind of solidified that line. Then you just got to find a backup tackle, But you also got Bowles that can go back to left and hold that down if your left tackle goes down. So, trying to use the money. They're Khalib Talib's. They're talking about getting rid of him. But shoot what got me the most interesting is that it's a 4-year deal, right? And they also got they sent Kendall Fuller and a 3rd round draft pick. You know what I mean? That blew my mind. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much anything Daniel Snyder does blows people's mind. But we'll go ahead. We'll get off that. We're going to go ahead and get into Super Bowl 52, preview that a little bit. So I'm going to go around and just basically tell me what your biggest key to the game is. And if anybody wants to chime in when that person's done talking, go ahead. We'll start off with Coop.
Well, I'll tell you, the key to the game, I think these are pretty evenly matched teams, okay? But it's hard. It's really hard to go against Belichick and Brady in a Super Bowl where they've had so much success, and they don't get rattled. They get behind and they keep doing the same thing they've always done. Execute, and they don't get rattled. They don't get out of their game plan. They don't get out of their schemes. They just keep executing. And the other team, if they get ahead, the Patriots are going, okay, you might win one, you might get a turnover, we might, you might get us on that play or 2 or 3, but if we keep executing throughout the whole game, we're going to finally, we're going to come back and we're going to win this football game if we're behind, and if not, we're going to keep pulling ahead because we're going to keep our foot on the gas. And what you always see, I seem to see anyway, is the other team, gets ahead, they try and, protect their win, they play not to lose, they don't keep their foot on the gas pedal, and it drives me crazy. And I think coaches lose more games than players lose in that scenario. But you got to look at Philadelphia and say, Philadelphia, it can run the football pretty damn good, right? And you can say Philadelphia's defensive line, now they get penetration, and if they can get penetration up the middle and they can start rattling Brady, Brady turns into an average quarterback. So, I think this game's going to be closer than we think, and, maybe as much as just a touchdown or a field goal if the defensive line and the gets penetration on Brady and rattles him around in that pocket. And if they don't, then it could be a runaway, unfortunately. So that's kind of my P's and Q's. And, turnovers are always the biggest part of that game. And, the Patriots don't turn the ball over that much. So, if Foles can, hold, kind of keep that offense together, not make mistakes, they can stay in this game and or win it.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I think this comes down, and every game does, but third down for me this game, because it's going to impact the time of possession so greatly. If Philadelphia wants any chance to win, you just heard that they're going to have to use their running game, and they're going to have to stick with it. Because what you see in the Patriots, every time you want to write them off, or you think you can write them off, 28-3 last year in the Super Bowl, for all purposes, Jacksonville looked like they were going to beat them last 2 weeks ago in that game. And as soon as you start to doubt the Patriots or doubt Brady, it's when they come back and sting you. And for me, watching that game and watching Brady over the years, it's amazing to me how Patriots, Belichick, whoever you want to give the most credit to, they don't just have one game plan. They're a team that can get punched in the mouth more than any other one you see, and they never lose their poise. They never get rattled. They come back out and they do what they need to do. So they're going to have 2 or 3 game plans to try to stop Philadelphia's running game. If the Philadelphia line can apply that pressure, you see Brady, like we were just talking about, you see him turn into an average guy, but they use their weapons so well. Gronk's clear concussion protocol. I've been watching the Tom vs. Time or Tom's Facebook video series where it's documenting his life in football, and watching that and watching what he's doing at his age, it's just hard to go against him and the steam that they have.
All right, Brian.
It comes down to me is Philadelphia going to come in this, and are they going to play to win, or are they going to play not to lose? And that's, to me, are they going to be aggressive with the play calling? Are they going to go? I think, not only is Foles a big key, but guys like, Ashton Jeffrey, guys like that make some plays against New England. But it really comes down to, if that's happening in the fourth quarter, the Eagles are up 10, 14. Are they going to keep the foot on the gas, or are they going to play to try to milk the clock? Because the thing about New England, it's already been touched on, they're very hard to get rattled. They stay with it. They stay consistent. And when you're going into a Super Bowl and you've got Belichick and you've got Brady, you've got that system that they run, and so you've got to overcome that. And as much as we think this game could be close, if Philadelphia does not come out and play to win, it's not going to be close. If they play conservative, try to keep it close, New England will rip them apart. So I got to look for the Eagles to come out and play balls to the wall, take chances, do the things that try to get New England a little bit off their game. But then you've got to sustain that for 4 quarters, and we've seen teams struggle to sustain that for 4 quarters against New England.
All right, Matt.
Yeah, I think this game comes down to the quarterbacks. I don't think either running game is going to win this game. I don't think either defense is going to allow that to happen. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks. I agree with everything that's been said so far. I think the pass rush is the biggest key in this game for both teams. The Eagles are going to have to mount a pass rush that rivals the 07 Giants and the 11 Giants, what they were able to do to Brady in the Super Bowl. It's going to have to be a lot of pressure. I mean, it doesn't matter how much pressure they get on them, because they're going to find ways to make adjustments to get the ball to their weapons and to make plays to put points on the board. But if they can keep that pressure on, they'll stay in the game. If New England can get pressure, that's kind of one of their weaknesses. If New England can get pressure on Nick Foles, this game could be over in a hurry. So it's going to come down to what Nick Foles can do in the pocket. Like it was said, they're going to have to be aggressive. I look for Doug Peterson to be very aggressive like he's been all year. I don't think he's going to change the way he plays in this game. I think he's just going to play his game, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't think he's going to make big changes. So I think it really comes down to what kind of pressure is going to be on each quarterback. And, if Nick Foles can just play mistake-free and they get a lot of pressure on Brady, they'll have a chance. But if it goes the other way, I think New England will rout them.
Well, see, I think the people don't give the Eagles enough credit. I think they didn't come into the playoffs. They were a home underdog twice. This is a really good football team. If you match them up position for position, I think Philadelphia's got a better roster. But the thing that Belichick's really good at, which I think you've got two keys here, and that's the fact that you've got James White, Dion Lewis, Rex Burkhead. They create matchup problems all over the place. That's what's made Belichick a great football coach, is he finds those matchup problems, and he'll hit these guys out in the flat. He will eventually soften that pass rush or the tight coverage that the Eagles play on them, and I think they're going to score points. When you look at Philadelphia, I think it comes down to this. They can run the ball, but they've got to be able to throw the ball. And I think they've got to be able to stretch the field, because I expect, I'll go to Tony on this, I expect with Foles at quarterback, the Patriots are going to walk some guys up in the box, and they're going to try to take that away, and they're going to force Foles to beat them deep.
Yeah, and to me, I think you look at the game plan that Jacksonville took against Pittsburgh just a couple weeks ago in the playoffs. Pittsburgh came out and said they were going to stop Leonard Fournette, put the game on Blake Bortles, and historically, Belichick's going to take away your best option or your best strategy or game plan. I think it would be great if Philadelphia came out, dangled that running game against the New England defense a little bit, and took some play action chances early, because with play action against an aggressive defense that's geared up to, because all they've heard about now is we got to stop Philly's run. We got to stop their run. If you come out early and you can burn them over the top with one or two play action passes, you're going to set yourself up now for later in the game to where you can start hitting these, gash plays on the ground of 10, 15-yard runs, because you're going to have to respect you and keep those safeties back.
Yeah, and you're also going to open up screen passes to those running backs.
Right. And like you said, but with all the weapons, it's not just New England that's got weapons. The Eagles have put together a pretty good roster of weapons as well, and can spread the ball out. So you set up the screen game, you set up the play action pass down the field. It's just going to help you late in the game. Like you said, when you try to put a team like New England away, third and fourth quarter, being able to convert those third downs on the ground.
Yeah, and Coop, when we look at the offensive line, both teams are really good on the offensive line, which is really a testament to the coaching. When you look, this Patriots offensive line is basically the offensive line that was there 2 years ago. They got manhandled by Denver. They bring, Scarnelli back, and all of a sudden they're a great offensive line again. The Philadelphia Eagles, they lose their starting left tackle, and they're still playing great.
Yeah, the young kid, he's I think his second-year player, I can't pronounce his name, but Vitali or something like that is his first name. And he's done, talk about a bang-up job, And then when Wisniewski, he came from Oakland, he slid in. He was a backup center guard. He slid into that guard spot because the other guard went down. Kels, the center, he's an all-pro. And then your left guard's a 7-year guy. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But then Peters goes down earlier in the season, and your left tackle's playing bang up as well. So, it's for what you might call a little bit of a makeshift line at the end of the season. That offensive line is doing a heck of a playing great football and doing a heck of a job.
Yeah, and Matt, you talked about the pass rush. This is where Belichick, just outcoaches everybody, because now you got James Harrison, who seems like he's getting a sack or two every game. So now they've got an edge pass rusher against a backup left tackle.
Yeah, that's the genius of what the Patriots do. You got a guy out there like James Harrison Just, pick him up basically for a playoff run, and he's going to play a very important part for the New England Patriots. And I do see New England getting pressure on Nick Foles. It's going to come down to what Nick Foles can do under that pressure and on third down. That will determine how well Philadelphia is going to be able to stay in this game or even get a lead. But the crazy thing about this is even if they get a lead, even if they do make a play action early in the game and get up on them, nobody believes that New England's out. They're going to have to get up big in the third quarter, or
and
at
then
least
they're
a double
still
digit
not
lead.
out.
And they're still not out. I mean, they're going to have to play a perfect game in this situation and get 2007 Giants pass rush in this game to win the game. I do give Philadelphia a lot of credit, but we're talking about Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and what they've been able to do in the playoffs year after year.
Now, Brian, do you want to address the fact that we have a listener who is very disappointed in you right now for the way you've talked about her Eagles? Her name is Becky.
Oh, she always has a problem with the fact she asked me if I thought the Eagles would win, and I told her my opinion, and so she's just disappointed. But she's an Eagles fan, and they don't have any rings anyway. So.
1960 and 1949.
Oh yeah, that a long time ago.
It still happened. All right, it still happened.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and
like that blue moon the other night.
It was red, wasn't it, or blood?
Exactly.
The blood moon, unless it's blue in Colorado.
It is, because everything's prettier out here.
Yeah, except for retired football players. Coop, do you want to go ahead and give us a score and pick the game?
Oh my goodness! Well, it's like I said early on, it's hard to go against Belichick and Brady on game day. With all the experience they have. So I'm gonna go 27-24, and with the Patriots on top. And like I said, I don't have any. I have the utmost respect for Belichick as a coach and Brady as a quarterback, and I'm not a hater. But you know what? The Philadelphia Eagles have the tools now. If their coaches come to play, they certainly could win this football game, and I'd be happy for them. But boy, it's hard to. I just got to stick with Brady and Belichick.
All right, Tony.
I'm with you. To me, it's so hard to pick against the greatness of Tom Brady, the greatness of Bill Belichick. But what's not been talked about yet, and I think could become an issue, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, both pretty much they haven't been leading up to this game as normal, as I'm sure Bill Belichick would have wanted. They're, for all intents and purposes, they're going after this game. That creates distractions. I know Brady's a professional. I think he's got still some great years ahead of him. But I look at the Eagles. They played this home underdog for 2 weeks. They got a center in Jason Kelsey, who I got it to UC when Jason was coming in. Jason was a walk-on linebacker at UC. And he's played with that chip on his shoulder his whole career, kind of like you see this whole Eagles team. So with that being said, the distractions on the New England side, I'm actually going to go 28-24 and take the Eagles this week.
There you go. All right, Schmitty, Becky's listening. We're in a three-way tie. It's kind of a life-changing moment for you. We're going to let you go first. Who do you want?
Yeah, I am going to root for the Eagles. However, I can't go against Belichick and Brady in this game. I'm going to say 28-20 New England.
All right. Matt, doesn't matter who you pick because I'm going to pick the same thing one of you are. And go ahead, make the pick. Becky says that you're not friends anymore, Brian. Go ahead, Matt.
Figured.
Well, I do think the Eagles have a real chance to win this game. I think they're aggressive. They could hit on a few things. And if they get out to, let's say they get out to like a 27-10 lead late in the third quarter, I don't think they'll squander it. Just because of what happened last year. I just don't think it's going to come down to that. I think the Eagles are going to have their chances. I think we're going to see a pretty good game in the first half. I think the Patriots will cling to a slight lead in the third quarter, and something will happen early in the fourth or midway in the fourth. Patriots win 34-24.
All right, Matt, I disagree with you because I think this is going to be a much closer game. I really think the Eagles can win this game. And to tell you the truth, I think this game is such a toss-up.
I do too.
That if it wasn't for the fact that I may be the only person outside of the Boston area, but I really want New England to win this game. Just because I love to see all the, as soon as there's a penalty that's called against the Eagles, there's going to be at least 10 people on social media blow up and say, see, the game's fixed. And I love to watch these people suffer when the Patriots win. So I'm going to pick the Patriots. We're going to end up in a tie again just because I don't want to sit there and cheer for the Eagles and have to listen to people that are idiots sit there and say, oh, he must not have cheated this time because they lost. But basically, if you think Belichick wins because he's cheating, you're stupid. Number two, the Patriots are going to win this game because it's an evenly matched game. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to take the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, who is coached by the greatest coach I've ever seen. And that's the problem. I'm a Bengals fan. All right, I still wake up having nightmares that Joe Montana's running on the field with 2 minutes left and we've got the lead because you know what's going to happen. I mean, let's face it, if the Giants scored 30 seconds earlier in those two Super Bowls that they beat the Patriots, does anybody think that Brady wouldn't have went down the field and won the game? I mean, the key to beating them is to take the lead with about 20 seconds left. So, we've got W.
Or control the football.
Or
control the football at the end of the game and go get some first downs.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is, for some reason, when you're playing Joe Montana, it doesn't matter what you do, he's still going to win. And I think Brady is kind of the same damn way. But see, the Bengals' problem in Super Bowl 23, and Tony, I don't know if you're old enough to remember this or not, but the biggest problem is the Bengals had a 3rd and 8 on like the 32-yard line with 3:35 left in the game, and they ran the ball instead of trying to get the first down. Where if they get the first down, they can run the clock under 2 minutes, kick a field goal, and should be able to win the game.
Yeah, I didn't see that one, but unfortunately, I feel like I rewatch it every week when I watch what's going on with this current Bengals team. So I understand the frustration.
We're going to rewatch it at Mike's house a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. We're all gathering at Mike's house to rewatch it. You should come.
Matt's not available.
Perfect.
Tony is available to come watch at my house. I'd let Coop come watch at my house. Schmitty's been to my house, and he's a Steelers fan. And my dog's never been the same since Schmitty's been there. It's not because of anything. I'm not being like a pervert here. I'm just saying that my dog's been messed up ever since being so close to a Steelers fan. And my kids haven't been quite right either. I mean, it's just Steeler fans are a little off kilter. And
no,
I know,
that's not true.
Brian, you know it is. We've all been to Pittsburgh to see a game. Whether it's the Panthers or the Steelers, Pittsburgh people are a special crew.
I know we're very special.
Coming from a Cincinnati fan like that, right? What do you? Come on,
Coop, you played for the Buccaneers when they had that pirate on the helmet. I don't want to hear it. But you did play for the Broncos when they had the cool
pirate
uniforms.
Was cool. Hey, he had a knife in his mouth and everything else.
I always thought that was like one of those. What is a paintbrush?
Oh, come on.
Actually, I love the creamsicle uniforms. Also, we got another listener.
You guys stole your stuff from Kellogg's. A little Tony Tiger action there. Come on.
I like the old block Bengals helmets better myself, but Paul Brown didn't listen to me when he changed them. EJA radio's listening. Ernie, and he predicts the Patriots are going to win 38-10. And of course, Becky says she needs new friends. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to wrap it up. Tony, any final words?
No, like you guys have all said, I think with the scores, I just hope it's a close game. I think if the Eagles get rattled early and this becomes a blowout, I think it's bad for football. It's been a good season. I just hope they can keep it close. I hope it's a good Super Bowl and can get some momentum. And I hope the Bengals draft the first-round pick that gets on the field this year.
Hey, John Ross got on the field at one time. All right.
Yeah, that's one play.
Now, speaking of somebody that cheers for a team that's worse than our team, Coop, any final words?
Oh, please.
We beat you guys in Denver
you're
last
kick the
year.
Dog, you're right. You're going to kick the dog one down year. Come on, we'll be back. We solidify that offensive line. It's all over. We'll be back in the playoffs. So
you also need a quarterback.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? You solidify that offensive line, and an average quarterback can make big things happen. So
you don't have
I'm
an average quarterback, though, do you?
They're not bad. They're not as bad as everybody thought. I mean, they're running all year long. I mean, you can bring in Cousins, but if you don't have an offensive line, you better have two backups because they're all going to get hurt. So, I'm excited to watch both offensive lines play. I mean, you know me, I'm a aficionado, so I'm going to be watching the kicks, slide steps and the slides and the protection and who's doing what to who and the punches. And I mean, I just enjoy the heck out of all that. So, having two good offensive lines and defensive lines getting after it, and watching how Belichick matches up his guys with the Philadelphia running backs, that's the best thing in town for me. And you can watch the rest of the game on the replays as they play them. But it's all Super Bowls are exciting, man. I mean, I was fortunate enough to play in 21. It didn't turn out the way we wanted it, but it's a spectacle. It's a fun event. It's a great event for families and fans and everybody around the game. So Super Bowl week is just a giggle. So everybody enjoy, man. Have fun.
All right, Brian.
I'm the same. I'm looking forward to it. I'd like it to be a close game, a fun game to watch. It's the thing is seeing the magic that is Tom Brady and Belichick, and like Mike said, and I kind of agree. I love watching people have meltdowns. I even had my meltdown when they played Pittsburgh. I mean, it happens, but it's kind of fun watching it. Just because everything they do is immediately it goes on as something that cheated, so it does get kind of funny. So I hope it's a good game.
Yeah, and I love that Schmidt meltdown when they lost to New England. Matt.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I really enjoy watching people melt down. I mean, it is all over my home state. I mean, it is just rampant jealousy of what New England's been able to accomplish, and it's all over the place. Everything they do is cheating. It's nonsense. It's all just over exaggerated stuff, and it's ridiculous. They're just jealous of the success. But in any case, I do think that this is going to be a pretty good game. I think it's got the potential to be one of the best ones that we've ever seen. I do think New England comes out either way. But, Mike, I got to ask you, was there any scenario tonight based on what Schmidt and I could have picked that you would have picked Philly?
No way.
Okay.
I'm not betting against the Patriots ever. It's just not going to happen. You can ask Schmidt. Schmidt knew what I was picking, and he knew what he was picking before. So, I mean, the thing that is amazing to me is that Bill Belichick, I know I said he was the greatest coach of all time. It's possible he's the best general manager that ever lived, too. And, I mean, there's not too many coaches that have been successful being the GM and the coach. And I think what he's done there has been amazing, and I don't think it's because Brady's there. I think that when you look at this, I had somebody on social media, some girl that didn't know what she was talking about. No, I'm not saying because she was a girl she didn't know what she was talking about. But she's on there and she says, well, would Belichick ever do before he was a Patriot? And, I mean, Belichick, the thing that stands out to me about him is probably the two best offenses I ever saw were the 1990 Bills and the greatest show on turf Rams. And he went into both games as a touchdown or more underdog and figured out a way to hold both of those offenses under 20 points and pull two biggest upsets that anybody's ever seen in Super Bowl history. So the fact that he was in 3 Super Bowls before he even became the head coach, he won 2 of them. I mean, he was Bill Parcells' right-hand man for a reason. Bill Parcells was a brilliant football coach. And if you look at his staffs, he had brilliant coaches around him, and that's why he's won. I mean, he'll lose McDaniels. He'll lose both coordinators this year, and he'll find 2 more coordinators that'll end up being just as good, if not better, than what he's got now. Because these guys go in and they learn from what I think is the greatest football mind we've seen. And in the end, if people don't enjoy that and they want to sit there and talk about conspiracies, that's fine. But in the end, you're missing something special. And a lot of people have been missing something special for a while because of hatred and jealousy. Nobody hates the Cleveland Browns. You know, me and Tony live in Cincinnati. It used to be a huge rivalry. It's not anymore because the Browns are a joke. You know, the Steelers did not hate the Bengals in 1997. They didn't hate the Bengals until the Bengals could actually give them a game. So, in the end, people need to just sit down, shut up, and watch the game and enjoy what we're seeing, because win or lose, we'll never see something like this again that lasts for 20 years. But I want to thank everybody for listening in. We actually had a ton of live listeners tonight. Becky, I'm sorry. No, we did have Tony pick the Eagles, so Tony, you can be Becky's new best friend. So
Yes.
you get a hold of Schmidt. He'll tell you how to get a hold of her on Facebook. You guys can be new Facebook friends until you pick against the Eagles. And we would love to have you back next year also. And you can pick with us and end up in a tie.
Absolutely. I would love to. I appreciate it.
All right. And Coop, as always great to have you on. I know I tease you about the Super Bowl thing, but that's just because we're friends, because everybody knows that what you did in your career, 86 championship game, playing in the Super Bowl was special, and it's always great to have you on.
Hey, it's always great to have fun. And
I got a little tear in my eye when I said that, Coop.
Bit.
Coop, I cried a little bit when I said that.
You have to give me a selfie on that, because I don't believe it.
He's just slicing up onions right now, Coop. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I know.
Okay. And as always, Matt, the 49ers suck. There's nothing you can do about it. I heard today they were trading Jimmy Garoppolo to Cleveland. And Schmitty, I know you got to go. So
I would have tears in my eye.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to wrap it up. If you like boxing, in an hour and a half at 11 o'clock Eastern, I will be interviewing on the Boxing Legends show former light heavyweight champion of the world, Virgil Hill, who also won a silver medal in the 1984 Olympics. So make sure you check us out back here in about an hour and a half, 11 o'clock Eastern. Remember, you can hear all of our shows on iHeartRadio, iTunes, TuneIn, Spreaker, Stitcher, Google Music. Wherever you find sports podcasts, you'll find The Grueling Truth. So for Brian Schmidt, Mark Cooper, Tony Pike, Matt Andruscavage, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been listening to The Grueling Truth, where the legends speak.